Why are Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds pretending they're skipping the Met Gala tonight instead of just acknowledging they weren't invited?
Blake Lively is allegedly in full meltdown mode after being quietly rejected from the 2025 Met Gala.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't attend the Met Gala, but were they rejected from it?
Sources say she wasn't just busy, she was blacklisted.
Or they just didn't really want to put themselves out there with all of the scandal.
From plantation wedding backlash to a resurfaced blackface skit and fake family anecdotes, her glamour facade crumbled fast. Even Justin Baldoni's charity couldn't survive her drama.
Sad news, Justin Baldoni's foundation is shutting down.
Blake Lively wants us to believe she chose to skip the Met Gala this year? Girl, stop. It's not even funny at this point. It's just desperate. According to TMZ, US Weekly, and People, this whole "we're not attending this year" narrative was pushed out back in March 21st, 2024 to be exact.
Blake and Ryan won't be at tonight's Met Gala. The couple's plans were revealed in March by multiple outlets, including TMZ. On March 21st, a source told Us Weekly that the news is actually not surprising, saying she's not a Kardashian that goes every year.
You know, just early enough for her PR team to pre-spin the snub before it became public humiliation. They didn't even bother with a real reason. Just vague, fluffy nonsense like scheduling conflicts or they're just not going this year. Really? For someone who's practically drooled over every red carpet moment for a decade, we're supposed to believe you just randomly decided to skip the biggest night in fashion? Please.
Saying Blake and Ryan haven't gone since 2022 when they were co-chairs, and they will not be in attendance this year.
Let's not play dumb. This is the second year in a row that Blake and Ryan Reynolds ghosted the Met Gala, 2 years back to back. That's not absence, that's exile. And don't forget, this woman literally co-chaired the event in 2022.
She's obsessed with the Met Gala. She's obsessed with being seen. You know she wants to go.
But now she's gone poof like she was never part of the carpet royalty she once worshipped? Nah. You don't go from handpicked by Anna Wintour to just staying home with the kids unless something behind the scenes went very, very wrong.
They're just saying that they're not going. Okay? They don't give a reason. It's just random. They're not going. This woman who loves fashion, who, you know, whether you like her fashion or not, I think it's abhorrent.
And let's talk about that theme, shall we? The 2024 Met Gala's theme was super fine tailoring, black style, a celebration of black dandism, legacy, fashion influence. You know, Zekim, stuff rooted in culture, history, and actual social relevance, not antebellum cosplay and plantation aesthetics.
She got this Time Magazine Civil Rights Titan Award and all of that. We know the woman has done blackface. We know the woman got married on plantation. We know she only got the Time Magazine thing because she donated money to the NAACP 6 years ago.
The second that theme dropped, anyone with a brain knew Blake Lively wasn't about to be front and center. Not after the number of PR disasters she's stacked up like it's a sport. Her showing up would have been a contradiction dressed in couture.
And like, why? Why do you have to make up stories like that? I just don't get it.
Now let's rewind to the disaster that started it all. Blake Lively's wedding in September 2012. No, not just any wedding. A full-blown Southern plantation wedding. And I'm not talking about some vague backyard in Georgia. This was a literal plantation.
Or they just didn't really want to put themselves out there with all of the scandal. But there also could be another side plot, you know, with the speculation and the opinion that maybe they were not welcome.
You know, where enslaved people were tortured, abused, killed. But sure, let's call it rustic elegance. And she really thought a filter and some Pinterest boards would erase that? She had the audacity to label it a romantic backdrop. Girl, it was a crime scene. But here's the gag. After getting dragged online for romanticizing slavery, instead of apologizing or reflecting, Blake did what any fake woke celebrity would do. Throw money at the problem. So, in 20, she donated to the NAACP. And what did she get in return? A Time 100 Civil Rights Titan Award. Let that sink in. A woman who once ran a blog called Preserve, where she literally posted antebellum-themed muffin recipes, is now being held up as a symbol of progress. I'm sorry, is the bar that low?
I am calling out hypocrisy amongst the powerful people in Hollywood. She's not talking about women in power. She is protecting women in power. And instead, she is going after women just like herself who's trying to make a living from being creators here online.
And we're not even done. Remember her unforgettable performance on SNL? Of course you don't. Because the skit where she put on a caricature of a ratchet black woman has been scrubbed from every platform thanks to copyright claims. People are still trying to repost that clip, but YouTube blocks it like it's a national secret.
I could see, what's her name that runs the thing? Who's the designer?
Anna Wintour?
I could see Anna Wintour being like, Blake, you are not coming this year. Like, there's no way.
Thankfully, nothing truly dies on the internet, and that mess is still floating around on other platforms. And trust me, it's just as cringe now as it was then. The exaggerated accent, the twerking, the cheap wig, it was Blake Lively at her absolute most performative and insulting. So yeah, showing up to a gala themed around black style after doing all that?
Tailoring black style, the celebration of black dandyism and the influence of black style in the fashion industry history. So, given, her blueberry slave muffins, her wedding at a plantation, I could imagine why they wouldn't go.
That wasn't going to happen. And the Met Gala's organizers knew it. They saw the plantation history, they saw the racial mockery, they saw the faux activism timeline, and they quietly locked the doors before she could RSVP. Because imagine the press fallout if she actually tried to spin that into another Blake's learning and growing moment.
Close to the couple says the choice to pass in this year's gala came before the lawsuit, has nothing to do with it, and for what it's worth, Blake and Ryan aren't shying away from public appearances.
But here's where it gets extra embarrassing. According to Popcorn Planet's Andy Signor, insiders are now whispering the truth out loud. Blake and Ryan weren't invited at all. From co-chairing in 2022 to ghosted in 2024, talk about a fall from grace. And not just that any kind of ghosting. The kind where Anna Wintour, the literal gatekeeper of the Met Gala, is rumored to have flat out said, no thank you. When Wintour ices you out, there's no comeback. That's fashion exile.
I think we can prove they weren't invited. I mean, really? I don't think this is the year to bring Blake Lively. I mean,
yeah.
I agree with you. Like, maybe it was her reps.
What makes it even worse is how obvious the PR cover-up has been. Every entertainment reporter who's not on Blake's payroll could smell the damage control from a mile away. The official explanation reeked of desperation. It was all too polished, too rehearsed. Like her team was sitting in a crisis Zoom muttering, okay, what's the least humiliating way to spin being blacklisted?
Definitely their absence was noted.
Yeah, I think we can prove they weren't invited. I mean, really? I don't think this is the year.
Meanwhile, actual stars, and by actual, I mean relevant and not problematic, showed up and nailed the theme. Coleman Domingo, killed it. Zaya Wade, iconic. But where was Blake? Oh, right. She was busy posting carefully curated off-duty mom selfies and pretending like she wasn't foaming at the mouth watching from home. The woman lives for attention. You think she skipped the Met Gala because of a scheduling conflict? Please. That's like saying the Kardashians skipped it for a yoga retreat.
They just did all, we know. They've been everywhere. She's not a Kardashian that goes every year, is what she previously. This sounds like a lot of defense.
And let's not forget the internet's favorite kind of karma, memes. Someone made an AI-generated image of Blake in full plantation blueberry couture, complete with a muffin tray and awkward smile. And the sad part is how many people believed it was real.
Isn't it kind of crazy how this could actually be something she might wear?
That's how deeply her branding has failed. When people think a spoof photo of you serving slavery-themed pastries could actually be something you wore to the Met Gala, it's over. The parody becomes plausible, and the fashion queen becomes a cautionary tale.
And of course she brought a tray of blueberry slavery muffins for everyone to have, because she just wants to romanticize that deep South history of how the blues came from and where it came from, and the blueberries from the blues.
So don't let the fluffy headlines fool you. This wasn't a peaceful step back or a private decision. This was a shutdown, a locked door moment, a hard pass from fashion's elite. No matter how many fake smiles or staged pap walks Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds do, the message from the Met Gala was loud and clear. You don't get to wear the culture you once mocked.
She's done it! She's done it! And now she's out there like, oh, I'm learning so much and thank you time, blah, blah, blah. Oh, cram it.
Blake Lively went on Seth Meyers and decided to rewrite the Gregorian calendar for PR points. She looked dead into the camera and announced that one of her daughters was born on the same day as Napoleon Bonaparte and Jennifer Lawrence, August 15th. Because of course she did.
They lied and said that their daughter Betty was born on August 15th on Seth Meyers, and then that's what Blake Lively said. And then Ryan Reynolds said that Betty was born also on August 15th in a Variety interview. I just did those videos. It's deranged.
Why not sprinkle some historical grandeur into your already hyper-manufactured image? Nothing screams relatable mom like fake bonding your toddler to an 18th century French military dictator. But here's the problem. None of her kids are born on August 15th. Not one. Internet legends like Elsie and Melanie King did what Blake didn't expect. They Googled. Wild concept, I know.
Do your daughters ever criticize your outfits?
Oh, yeah. No, one of my daughters has the same birthday as Napoleon and Jennifer Lawrence. So if you imagine like those two blended.
A few moments later.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Turns out, James was born December 16th, Inez on September 30th, Betty on October 4th, and baby number 4 on February 12th. Not a Napoleon or Jennifer Lawrence birthday in sight. So why lie? What's the point?
The past or the present, and sat up there and said that her daughter's birthday was the same as Napoleon and Jennifer Lawrence. Napoleon and Jennifer Lawrence were born on August 15th. All right?
To sound quirky? To shoehorn a forced funny mom moment into a talk show appearance? Or maybe she just wanted to sound more interesting than she is. You know, because making up birth dates is a perfectly normal response to fading relevance.
This woman is absolutely deranged. She decided to go on Seth Meyers, knowing that all these eyes and ears on her, knowing that everyone is going through everything she's ever said and done with a fine-tooth comb, whether it's in the past or the present.
And let's not forget her beloved husband, Ryan Reynolds, who, bless his scripted charm, doubled down on the lie during a Variety actor-on-actor interview. He went all in with the Napoleon reference like it was some quirky inside joke instead of a blatant, unnecessary fabrication. These two treat interviews like improv class. Just riff something, smile a lot, hope no one checks the facts.
The two narcissists, delusional people.
Except we did. And the receipts don't lie. But apparently, Blake does. And often. She even admitted it. In an old Glamour interview, she literally said, "Ryan just makes things up. I don't even correct him." So we're supposed to laugh about it? Like, haha, they're such a goofy couple, lying about literal facts? No, Blake, that's not cute, that's not relatable, that's weird, and it's not subtle either. Throughout 2023 and 2024, the cycle became obvious. Blake gets dragged for something, fashion, plantation wedding, PR lies, SNL sketch, take your pick. And suddenly she's on a magazine cover talking about the strength of motherhood. Or she's launching some campaign tied to feminism light buzzwords, usually right before a product drop or a movie promo.
To do all that, it would have been like Ryan Reynolds promoting Black Panther after getting married in a plantation wedding, which he rightfully got called out for. It just would have looked very tone deaf and stupid.
She has literally monetized every inch of her existence. Red carpets, branded, interviews, scripted, even the trauma she hints at, wrapped in high fashion and dropped on your feed like a Vogue-sponsored PSA. And while smaller creators, especially women, are penalized for speaking up, Blake keeps smiling through the noise. cashing in on the chaos she created.
Blake and Ryan were no-shows at the Met Gala. Now, this is an event they've been to a lot. They weren't there last year. She was editing the movie It Ends With Us, stealing it from Justin's grasps. But now they didn't show up, and they have reasons.
Which brings us to another simple favor too, aka the sequel absolutely no one asked for. Not even the first movie's fans, not even the director. But somehow, while the internet was dragging her Met Gala absence and court drama, Blake was prancing around promoting this cinematic disaster like it was her Oscar campaign.
I would assume that there would be a lot of fittings, there would be a lot of things she'd need to do with designers to get ready, both her and Ryan, to be able to be a part of this event. And they have been very busy traveling all over the place for the promo of Another Simple Favor. So I'm guessing that if there is truth to they decided not to go, it may have been because schedules were too busy.
And I do mean prancing. She was at every premiere, every panel, every photo op, in full glam, pretending the world wasn't collapsing around her. Meanwhile, the movie panned across the board. Critics called it a PR fever dream, which is both accurate and generous. It was less of a sequel and more of a 2-hour Pinterest board for Blake's wardrobe. Behind the scenes, a mess. Whispers flew that Blake hijacked the editing process from Justin Baldoni, delaying deadlines and dodging production meetings like she was allergic to professionalism. And when the heat turned up, she miraculously became too sick to travel, right before being spotted living her best life with Taylor Swift in Las Vegas. You can't make this up. It's like if Regina George ran a film studio.
It is sort of a reality check of why we're still reporting and defending Justin, because Blake's out there at all these Another Simple Favor events and doing all these crazy things, and it seems like there's no problem. She's not suffering at all.
Instead of pulling back, owning the chaos, or, I don't know, facing consequences, she doubled down. She leaned harder into the spotlight. More premieres, more outfits, more headlines. Her whole vibe screamed, "I'm thriving," while her credibility was doing the cha-cha into the void. And the timing couldn't be worse. This all unfolded while she's involved in legal disputes that require her to appear, believable, grounded, honest. But no, she's out here delivering PR theatrics and acting like a misunderstood heroine, while Justin Baldoni is trying to pick up the pieces behind the scenes and salvage his foundation.
She's getting the gigs, she's showing up, they're getting the autographs, and meanwhile, Justin's still off, hidden in his family in Hawaii, trying to just sort of stay away from it all, as now they're having to shut down their foundation, which did so much work, Kim. This is depressing. So, Look, it's sad. I'm not trying to disparage, but I'm also like, good. They're still leaning in to show, like, this is the issue here.
So, in what universe is Blake the victim? In what parallel reality are we supposed to applaud this? Because from where we're sitting, all we're seeing is someone spinning harder than a washing machine on turbo, praying the public won't notice how much of her empire is built on shaky, shallow, self-serving nonsense. Her fashion might be custom, but the lies, mass-produced, and no amount of camera angles or viral gowns can cover up the cracks anymore. Justin Baldoni's Wayfarer Foundation shutting down in April 2025. Yep, a legit charity, co-founded by Baldoni and billionaire Steve Sarowitz, just collapsed in broad daylight. The same foundation that's been quietly doing real social work, not just lip service wrapped in a Vogue photo shoot, is now gone.
She is getting these opportunities. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, Justin Baldoni's Wayfarer Foundation is shutting down amid his legal woes with Blake Lively. Now,
why? Let's all say it together. Legal fees. That's right. The lawsuit between Baldoni and Blake Lively didn't just torch reputations. It straight up drained bank accounts. Their official statement said they'll honor current grants as they wind down over the next few weeks. Translation: they're trying to exit with dignity while scrambling to scrape together the leftovers. Meanwhile, what's Blake doing? Sulking in silence? Lying low in reflection? Nope.
In a weird way, I will compliment this team, because this is how you show damages, Kim.
Yeah.
Because realistically, there are a lot of costs. And right now, it's hard to probably do this foundation. This is a legitimate issue. I'm sure that they have so many legal funds and so many questions of what they can do.
She's out here playing celebrity bingo, red carpet in Paris, brunch in LA, front row at Fashion Week. She's autographing posters like she's the victim of the year. Because what better way to prove your suffering than doing a 3-city promotional tour in sequins? The optics are so bad, even her publicist has to be checking job listings. You've got Baldoni, silent and in hiding, visibly worn, and then Blake, strutting like she's starring in Cruella 2, courtroom chic. One side is grieving the collapse of a charity, and the other is serving looks for likes. If this isn't textbook who's hurting versus who's pretending, I don't know what is.
Like, this is a smart move. As depressing and sad as this is, hopefully they can rebuild it later when they get back on their feet, you know what I mean? But right now, shutting this down is a smart move to prove damages. It is sort of a reality check of why we're still reporting and defending Justin.
And yet somehow, we're still supposed to believe Blake is the one we should be worried about, that she's the victim. Because, you know, she cried on Seth Meyers once and said something about being misunderstood. Please, the only thing misunderstood is how long she thought she could keep faking it before it all caught up to her. But let's rewind to the moment the internet decided no more Blake excuses. That came with the glorious resurrection of the 2016 Woody Allen interview. A moment so cringe, it took almost a decade for the internet to finally have the guts to resurface it. You remember that interview? Blake was promoting a Woody Allen movie, which is already a red flag, let's be real. And a Norwegian journalist named Yashar Ali dared to ask her a basic question.
This is depressing. So,
Yeah.
Look, it's sad. I'm not trying to disparage, but I'm also like, good. They're still leaning in to show, like, this is the issue here. Blake's going to celebrate these red carpets and releasing movies. Meanwhile, Justin and it's not just Justin, it's Steve Sarowitz and the Wayfair organization. That's who started it.
What followed was the kind of cold, arrogant, eye-rolling response that screamed, "I am above this, and you are beneath me." Blake was so dismissive, so visibly annoyed, it made people in the room squirm. At the time, nobody posted the clip because, of course, Hollywood protects its golden girls. But now, the floodgates are open, and YouTubers everywhere have turned that 40-second clip into a case study on elite entitlement. Even better, the YouTube drama around it was its own circus. Opie Doy, another creator, tried to clown Sash Flo by accusing her of milking the clip to chase clout. Real mature. Except, plot twist. Opie streamed the same exact clip on her own channel. Ah yes, nothing says feminist unity like stealing each other's receipts and pretending it's original content. Sash Flo, who actually broke the resurfaced moment, came in swinging. I couldn't post it then, I'd be blacklisted. But now, we're done protecting the elites. Period. Game over. Blake's America's Sweetheart force field shattered.
She sent an email to YouTube saying that, oh, she needs to be protected because this is her livelihood and she's a disabled woman trying to just make a living. Isn't that hypocrisy at its worst? It's okay to steal another woman's content so that you can make a living for yourself. To me, this whole article, these hit pieces.
What the clip really exposed wasn't just that one bad day. It confirmed a pattern. This wasn't the first time Blake played mean girl in heels. This wasn't a slip-up. This was her. And everyone pretending it wasn't is now doing backflips trying to justify the behavior. But people have size. They see it. The charm has rusted. The brand has cracked. And the internet, bless its chaotic soul, does not forget.
You have to remember that Blake Lively started this herself. She's the one who went public with all her accusations against Justin Baldoni.
Which brings us to the Met Gala snub that said everything without saying anything. Because let's be honest, this wasn't just a declined invite. This was a public execution of Blake's fake brand. The gala didn't just reject a dress. It rejected a walking PR machine held together by hair extensions and half-truths. It said no to the narrative, no to the spin, no to the idea that as long as you look good and smile wide enough, no one will question the plantation wedding or the blackface SNL skit or the made-up birthday saga.
Blake and Ryan were no-shows at the Met Gala. Now, this is an event they've been to a lot. They weren't there last year. She was editing the movie It Ends With Us, stealing it from Justin's grasps. But now they didn't show up, and they have reasons.
This time, the fashion world finally RSVP'd a hard no thanks. Between the lawsuits, the timelines that never add up, the wild contradictions, and that charity burning to the ground, it's not just Blake Lively's career that's being questioned. It's her character, her credibility, her ability to go on TV and not make up wildly offensive nonsense just for laughs. Her need to hijack narratives and pretend they're empowerment when they're really just ego with a blowout. Even Anna Wintour, the ice queen of fashion herself, didn't have to say it out loud. She didn't need to write a press release. The absence spoke volumes. When Anna ices you out, there's no redemption arc. Just ask every has-been from Met Gala's past. Your spot gets filled faster than your excuses. And Blake's throne? Taken. No one even missed her, except maybe her team, frantically refreshing comment sections, hoping someone, anyone, still buys the illusion.
I could see Anna Wintour being like, Blake, you are not coming this year. Like, there's no way you are coming this year. Or I could see Blake's reps be like, Blake, you are not going to that. Can you imagine if you wear the wrong handbag and...
And let's not forget the final humiliation. The fans aren't buying it either. The same internet that once worshipped her for her flawless style and mom goals energy is now dissecting every move she makes like a true crime documentary. The comments aren't cute anymore. They're cold. They're sharp. They're done playing along. The media? No longer protecting her. Even former cheerleaders are now quietly distancing themselves. The headlines went from Blake shines in gold gown to Blake's PR crisis deepens. And the Met Gala? That used to be her playground. Now, she's not even in the sandbox. So no, this wasn't just about a party invite. This was about an entire brand implosion masquerading as a scheduling conflict. A fashion queen dethroned not by one scandal, but by a slow, relentless collapse of her own making. The curtain dropped. The spotlight moved on. And for once, Blake Lively couldn't control the narrative. Blake might have skipped the Met Gala, but she couldn't dodge the receipts. Subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns, and don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments.